So the countdown to this year's World Cup is well and truly on as 32 nations combine to create the greatest sporting spectacular on the bloody planet. But in this video, I'm going to try and answer you one simple question. Can Costa Rica win this year's World Cup? That's right, folks, back once again with another World Cup summary video. That's right, where we're going to try and answer one simple question. Can this nation actually go out and win the World Cup out in Qatar? We'll take a look at it, all of it, in a second. Of course, if you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe button, bang it, all things World Cup related, Pep and Rovers related, world football itself related. We got it all here, boys, under one roof. Of course, the countdown is well and truly on, with the tournament set to kick off in November 2022, of course. But what's going to happen this coming World Cup? We'll take a look at all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, of course. And if you are interested in helping out the channel in another way, check out the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Patreon, and of course there's a Discord in there. So get in amongst it and let's get chatting. Let's take a look at it then, shall we? It's Costa Rica coming at ya. Of course, in qualified via a very, very complicated path. We'll elaborate on that shortly. Of course, they secured the deal and that CONCACAF versus OFC qualification match. We'll elaborate on that in a minute. Of course, we want to talk about how they got to that stage in a second. They secured the deal, though, to qualify for Qatar 2022 on the 14th of June 2022. They were the last nation to qualify for this tournament, so they've had to play the waiting game a long, long time. It's actually their sixth tournament as a whole. They were there in Russia 2018. And this is the third tournament in succession. So they were there in Brazil, they were there in Russia, they're now there in, of course, in Qatar 2022. Their best ever performance was that in Brazil 2014 when they made the quarterfinal stages, of course. Can they bring those dizzy heights? Of course, I talked about it maybe on a previous video. I think it might have been the Germany or the Spain video. But Costa Rica are riding on a crest of a wave from the performances and the mentality and the experience of that generation, the 2014 generation, are still there. It's kind of like Croatia right here, right now. They are just riding on those experienced heads that have dragged them through the back end of the 2010s, of course. The Ruizes are there, the Joe Campbells are still there. I think it's Keylor Navas. I think he's the goalkeeper, right? He's probably still knocking around. The old heads are still there. They're relying too much on these guys. I think once they decide to hang up their boots, there's going to be a complete lack of experience and depth for this nation. And I think, unfortunately, I don't even know if they're going to be here next time around in that 2026 World Cup in USA, Mexico and Canada. However, that's of course a story for another day. I don't know how that qualification phase will work, considering three nations are hosting the thing. So we'll see. We'll see if what's going to happen. But for me, I'm concerned with the future of CONCACAF, CONCACAF and Costa Rica. I think they're gonna. This is the swan song for that golden generation. The Joel Campbells, the Ruizes, the Keylor Navases and co. Are going to. This will be it for them. Let's take a look at, of course, the group down here. In fact, before that, let's take a look at the manager. Luis Fernando Suarez is the guy in the dugout, and of course the VIP man is Joel Campbell. Still only 30. There's probably still another 2 World Cups left in the lad, I'm sure. Well, at least definitely 1 World Cup, if they can get there, that is. So they qualified via the Intercontinental Confederation playoff. We'll talk about that shortly, but of course a very, very fine margin in the end. Just 3 points off a top spot in that group, 4th. Unlucky for some. The goal difference was the difference maker between themselves and United States. Just imagine if the United States had actually gone through, had to do the old what Costa Rica had to go and do. But they were there, and of course proved to be stubborn opposition, and they even threatened to go automatically. But they're here. They're representing CONCACAF, but can they actually get themselves out of a very, very difficult group as well? Let's take a look at it. Of course, they then had to take on New Zealand, which they squeaked past them with a 1-0 win, and that was enough. The difference maker between themselves and, of course, elimination. So here they are in a very, very difficult group. Group E, and again, they're going to be buoyed on the fact that they are here and are here for the 3rd time in a row. Can they rematch or equal their best back in the quarterfinals in 2014? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a very, very tall order. And to be honest with you, I think we could be seeing some heavy score lines against Costa Rica in this. But of course, they are paired up alongside Spain, Germany and Japan, which of course for me is the key match for Costa Rica. It is a must not lose game against against Japan. It's actually a must-win game, to be honest with you, for this. It's pretty much carbon copy. If you just watch the Japanese version of this video, I'm saying the same thing. You're going up against Spain, the first match, free hit, all eyes on that game. And a lot of pressure is going to be on Spain to win that game. There's no pressure for Costa Rica to win that game. However, if you are to fluke a result, get a point, 1 point. If you can get 1 point against Spain or 1 point against Germany, guess what? Your chances to get through to knockout stages improve dramatically. Goodness gracious me, it's such a fine margin. That's why the game against Japan is a must-win game. If you can win that convincingly, 2-3-0, get the goal difference up there, you're going to put the pressure on the likes of Germany and the likes of Spain. That's, of course, what your agenda. Your primary focus is to beat Japan and avoid heavy defeats against Spain or Germany. If you are to come out of that Japanese game with 3 points on the board, you're going to go against Germany with a shot of getting through to knockout stage. You'll keep your nation's hopes alive. That's what must be the top of the order for Costa Rica. And again, if you get a 0-0 draw out of that game, that 4 points might be enough that separates you from going home in the group stages or you progressing to the last 16 once again. So of course, again, it's not unheard of that Costa Rica will do it, but do they have the tools in the locker to get there? Well, I'm going to hope to answer that question in a second. 6-1 to qualify, long shots, and 750-1 to lift the trophy at the end in the final. That's of course never been on the horizon. I don't think if you ask any Costa Rican right here, right now, what their hopes are for this tournament, of course, their hopes are just to get out of this very, very awkward, difficult group stage, of course. Salenda, what you got for me? Salenda, what you got for me?
Can they win the World Cup?
Can Costa Rica win the World Cup? Short, sweet answer for you here, right now. No, they cannot win it. I think it's a generation, or at least 4 years too late for them to cause any concern. I think I'd love to see them. I'd love to see them roll back the years. I'd love to see them cause some surprises and maybe knock out Spain in this group, of course. But I just don't think it's going to happen.
Will they win the World Cup?
And of course that answers the question as well. No, they will not win it. Of course, I don't think they're going to get out of this group stages. It is a very, very tough group. It's quite a toxic group for Costa Rica. If you look at the other nations, USA and Canada, I think they've landed more favourable groups. Mexico as well, perhaps. I just think the two nations of Spain and Germany are going to be too much for Japan and too much for Costa Rica. None the same. But if there's any hope, there is, of course, you riding on, of course, the experience of Ruiz, riding on the experience of Joel Campbell, and, of course, you've got to beat Japan. Beat Japan and anybody's guess, of course, and then if you are to make it through to the last 16, just keep on trucking, grind it out, of course, and you never know. You might equal that quarterfinal dizzy heights of 2014, but for me, you're going home in the group stages, unfortunately. So there you have it, folks. There you bloody have it. A short, sharp take on this nation's chances out in Qatar 2022. What do you expect this country will do in this year's tournament? Do you think they'll get out of the group stages, or do you think they'll go deep into the competition itself? Let me know your opinion down below. And of course, we'll look forward to non-stop coverage right here at Blackburn Overseas. We're going to have, of course, predictions, previews, reviews, reactions, and of course, reactions from real fans themselves, of course. So that's all to look forward to this year out in Qatar 2022. So make sure you smash your subscribe, smash the thumbs up, and smash the little bell, boys and girls, as we look forward to a fantastic winter, or at least late 2022 of world football. Let me know your thoughts and opinions again about this nation and, of course, the tournament itself in the comment section. But until then, guys and girls, I'll see you soon for the next one.